When you watched the film of Saturday's game, what went wrong and what was the feeling in the room watching?
What do you mean what went wrong? Did we win? Did we win? Did we win? Because I've been up there quite a few times, okay, in my 18-year career here, and have not had to come away with a win. So we know there's things that we got to correct. I mean, there's momentum and things happen, and we didn't play great on the defensive side of the ball. So there's a lot of things to correct, but every single week we have objectives, and the last objective last week was win. And you know what? We came away with a win. We made a play when we had to make a play, and but as a coach, you evaluate everything, and that's the way you get better.
How did you know that was going to be their two-point conversion? Terry Cohen was told that's exactly what we're going to be.
You prepare. You don't know exactly. But when you do your studies and you have an idea, and obviously you see the things that we do a lot better job of. We're still a little bit in the youth of what we have, and the things that are new and different sometimes strike us and catch us by surprise. I think that's what has happened. But that was one of those things that we had repped and had a good idea, but it comes down to the guy making a play. He still could have repped it a few times, and Tyvus could have overshot it or missed it, or when he had to make a play, they made a play.
Michigan State's offense evolving, getting better. Is more conventional than the spread team? Yeah,
again, what's conventional nowadays? Each and every week it's something different. But I guess you'd say conventional, maybe what I had seen in the past, 10 years here. Some more two-back stuff, some other things. But those things pose problems as well. Almost what becomes conventional is the things you see every day. So, you take an Indiana or a team that runs the spread and some of those things, and that becomes a little more conventional to us just because our kids are so used to playing it. So I guess you'd say conventional in the older terms, or in the NFL, or, because they put two backs in the game, but, they know what their strengths are and they do them well.
Luke, how much you played in the Michigan game? So often players have said, boy, you lay it all on the line, that's it. You couldn't play anymore. Well, now you do play more. You have another game here before a bowl game. How difficult is this to ask them 1 week, hey, don't leave anything left in the tank, and now you've got to do it again?
I don't think these guys know the difference. I think last year was the first year, and they didn't, I guess they didn't realize it. And at their age, I don't think they do. But guys a little bit older, the guys have been through it, that knew that, whether it was Thanksgiving or the week after Thanksgiving, that the greatest thing about college football is you have some change-ups in what you do. You work your butt off, and you go through camp, and you go through a grind of a season, and then you get a little bit of a break before a bowl game, hopefully, and you go recruit.
Could you have played the week after the Michigan game when you were playing?
Well, I tell you what, when I played, I probably wish we would have, because there was quite a few as you were asking, there's quite a few very negative feelings after that game, and I went into that game undefeated 3 of my 4 years, and didn't come away with success. And whether it would have been a 42-41 win, I bet you I would be really happy to have one of those back. But I don't think these guys know anything different. Us as coaches and the guys that have been here probably have a little bit of a feeling of, oh my goodness, this is different. We used to be able to take that deep breath, go get on to recruiting, and continue to do what we do. But we're excited.
Luke, when you look at this Michigan State offense, how much does it look like the Ohio State offense that you went against in practice here with Coach Tressel for so many years?
I don't know. Again, they know what their strengths are, and they're going to have wrinkles. They're going to have some different things, and it's similar in some ways, but it's not the same. I know Coach Bowman's up there, and they still do some of the similar things, and but I guess you could say that it's what they've done last year too. Michigan State has been this probably for about the last 6-7 years, and they'll have some wrinkles, and they probably do a little bit more spread out than they had in the past, just because of the quarterback that they have. So they'll have it all.
Yeah, and Coach D'Antonio's not averse of calling trick plays every now and then. He may call more than anybody in America. How do you prepare your team for that aspect of the game, Luke?
Well, obviously some of those kind of plays hurt us last week. And I don't know if they're tricks, but good calls at a certain time. And you just got to be prepared. You can't sit there and wait to try to play them every single time. And when that happens, you become very passive in what you do. And that's probably one of those things that happened after a big play last week. You get back on your heels, you become a little bit more passive, and you don't have the same pressures that you had in the past. So you can't sit there and wait and think, okay, when's the trick play coming? You just got to have your guys attuned to it, and you got to be able to react and respond when it happens.
When they'll be sitting there watching your video from last week with you guys in Michigan, they're going to see the throwback screens that were successful and things like that. What's the teaching point this week about specifically those kind of plays?
It's a big awareness thing, and again, you got to give them credit. They caught us in a couple things that were very, very difficult for us to defend on those certain situations. But like we say to our kids, do you want us to stop and just play all base and not do any of the things that we do because we can't be aggressive because they're going to hit you on something? You got to move on. But it all comes down to having some awareness. I mean, things like that happen. They could have hit another one. The throw back to the quarterback would have been a big play. But it wasn't. As Michael Bennett did a good job in having some recognition and kind of hanging back there, and that's going to be a tough play for them to complete. But if they do, it's going to be tough for us to stop as well.
Out of curiosity, are you guys live tackling in practice this week?
We haven't practiced yet, so I don't know.
Are you planning on it?
Whatever the head coach tells us to do. I promise you, we'll be after them and trying to hit and tackle. Are you trying to make reference to maybe we didn't tackle quite as well?
No.
Oh.
No. Actually, I
no, we didn't tackle well. And but every week of the season, we've had our own, basically self-contained, almost live tackling drill. Now, whether we tackle the true scout team guys to the ground is not usually because of the amount of people that are around you, but I promise you there'll be individual live tackling drills to be done.
I brought it up because Michigan State said that they are live tackling this week, and that they indicated that was a change for them.
Well, yeah, I think he said that after the game last year when they, with some of the problems, maybe they had to tackle Braxton a little bit. So we had problems tackling the quarterback last week as well, and I'm sure that if we need to tackle JT or one of those guys, that we'll be free to do it.
What does Connor Cook do well that you've seen?
You know what? I mean, I guess he's a young guy, but he commands in the offense. I don't know that he makes a ton of checks, and he's one of those guys that plays within the system. And if that allows them to be successful, they know what their strengths are. They're going to continue to play to them, and they don't, put him in situations I don't think he can handle.
As a coach, does this feel like a bowl game? Does this feel like what does it feel like? Because obviously you've never been in a game like this before. I mean, a championship game. You've been in games that decided championships, but not the extra.
I don't know I don't know. I'm not really sure. And this is kind of the question that he asked earlier, that you're so used to being after that game, you could take a deep breath, you could move, you could go on to that next little phase of something that you do. And then this is the first time for me to ever be in a championship game. So it's unique, it's different. I guess with it being the next week, your routine didn't change one bit. So I don't notice, other than us referring to it and putting a heightened awareness that it's a championship week, that a whole lot of stuff changes.
Luke, do you almost get time? I mean, you're the lead in the defense. It's unbeaten team, ranked number 2 in the country right now. But it seems like anytime you're in front of us, you almost feel a little defensive, like you're on the hot seat a little bit. Do you almost get tired of that? No. I mean, you have a standard, and that's what's been said around here. And I think that's the beauty of it. I mean, if you're one of those guys, it's a tough way to live your life to never be satisfied. But that's kind of the way that I was brought up. Whether I was here and Jim Haycock and I were together, and I mean, it was very similar. You're never satisfied with what you got. With that in mind, can you guys play the same way you played last week defensively and win this week?
Right. If our offense scores more points than they do, I mean, what it comes down to is ultimately you got to outplay the other team's defense. That means if they allow 2 points, then you got to allow none. And if they allow 3, whatever it is, and we got to do what we do. We got to get better at what it is that we do. We got to focus on what we're going to do, and what we're going to do, and that's the name of the game. Every play, every time you go out, every practice, we got to get better. And that's an attitude that we've started from the beginning of the year, whether we've been up or we've been down. No excuses to what we do. We know we got to get better.
What's Coach Grant's status?
I don't know. I mean, he was able to go last week a little bit, but he's just not back to himself, and missing a bunch of weeks has been really, really hard on him.
How's Williams stepped up, Cameron? I mean, he played a lot Saturday, it appeared. I mean,
I think he played 15 snaps. But he, in the Illinois game, he played over 80 snaps. So we've been thin at that spot. Had to have some guys step up and step into that position that is very critical for what we do.
Hey, on that 2-point conversion, did you guys do everything the way? Like, did that play go exactly the way you thought it would go, especially after you watch it on film?
I mean, that's the way we had it drawn up. I mean, guys had to execute and play it, but that's if we had a better call, we probably didn't have one on our sheet. But it still doesn't matter about the call. It's about the guys executing, and Tyvis Powell did a great job. Joey Bosa did a great job of coming under and back up in the face of the quarterback. Josh Perry coming off the edge. That they made a change call on the motion. I mean, there's a lot of things that went into it. That took a lot of work on those kids' part, not the call. It's the execution that they did.
Forget about
What
the
I'm
rest of the
hearing
game,
you
though.
saying-
When you see them running exactly the play y'all expected, what were your thoughts? I mean, are you going?
Thought we had a
can't
better
believe-
chance.
Yeah.
Thought we had a better chance to be successful. It's just, it's just who we are. It's the way we are. We don't have a lot of, some of that older stuff that those guys throughout a game pick things up and do a better job of. We're still a little bit young in what we do, so the things that we don't give them throughout the week become a little bit more difficult for them.
Yeah.
Luke, what I'm hearing you say is just because you got burned on a couple things, your aggression that's been so good, you're not going to go away from that.
We can't, and that's where you start to, I think maybe if I had kicked myself in the game a little bit on the third play, the guy went for 90 on a quick screen, and it was, we were blitzing, and all of a sudden, we didn't execute, we didn't do a great job, we didn't get off blocks, guys didn't retrace to the ball, sometimes those put you in those tough situations, your kids are in a little bit of a shock situation, and that game's a different game, and it's all about momentum, and so we can't change who we are. Well, we can't step back and ask our kids to change their demeanor and not be aggressive and not get after a quarterback just because of one situation.
Thank you very much. Thanks.